While everyone else is talking about how the Encore levels fit into the lore, I'm going to talk about someone who's been here since the beginning. That's right, today we talk about everyone's favorite completely dead can of ravioli, V2, and the fight that ensues when you first meet him in 1-4. But first, a little lore. Now, the lore of this PS1 era Doom knockoff is quite deep, so I'm going to try to skim it down and do a horrible disservice to this great story. V2 is actually a finished version of the V1 prototype. Basically, there was this big war with a bunch of sentient clankers who were all fueled by ravioli sauce or blood, and someone got the idea to have a machine that could absorb blood through its chassis or robo-skin to keep it constantly fueled in battle, and give it the ability to fix itself mid-combat, negating the need for heavy armor plating. Thus, the V1 prototype was born. However, before it could leave the prototype phase, the war kinda ended, and along came a time of peace. Seeing that a perfect war machine was no longer needed, they used the V1 plans to build a machine whose purpose would be more so to protect, rather than to attack. So by replacing the thin blood-absorbent plating with a standard protective armor plating, the V2 model was born. But since far cheaper machines existed for the same exact purpose, only one was ever made. The exact same unit V1 fights in his trip through hell. Now that I'm done butchering the lore, what does it all mean in actual gameplay? Well, it means that while V2 can sustain a much harder beating, it does not have the self-healing capabilities you have in its fight. Which is good, because the thought of this thing healing mid-fight would keep me up at night. The other difference is a slight change in weaponry. When you face each other, the first time, you both will have a revolver and a shotgun. You'll have the nail gun by this fight, it won't. While its shotgun is the same as the core eject variant, its revolver is the piercer with a 3-round burst capability for its normal fire. That's it. The V2 has 4 attacks: 3-round revolver burst, piercer shot, shotgun blast, core eject grenade. And funnily enough, it doesn't utilize the knuckle blaster during the fight, which is the arm you get when you defeat V2. And speaking of, let's get into how one can go about beating this fight. As a first-time player, V2's fight is one of many roadblocks you'll face in Ultra Kill. If you're anything like me, you probably got to this point without using some key mechanics like sliding, and by just mindlessly spamming dash. However, if you try to pull that in this fight, you're gonna find out real quick just how limited that makes you. And the angering part of it all is that these are things you can't blame on anyone but yourself. During the fight, V2 doesn't dash around all sporadically. It slides, it jumps, it constantly positions itself in a way that makes it hard to attack it or dodge its attacks. This can be frustrating, demoralizing, soul-crushing, especially when you get so close to winning just to be abruptly sent back to the laughing skull emoji. So that's it, huh? You're completely washed up. Cooked. Might as well refund the game with what little pride you have, right? Wrong. Newsflash, Brainiac. You too can be just as quick, nimble, and deadly as V2. Even more so. See that button right there? It's called the control key. And it's the key to being a slippery tin can yourself. You should be sliding more than you should be dashing. Just slide everywhere. In the boss fight, in the rest of the game, into your crush's DMs. Trust me, this is step 1, evading. And step 2 is winning. Get close. Let me teach you something. A simple little trick you can pull off as soon as you get the shotgun. And it's called projectile boosting. Projectile boosting, or pro boosting, is an art form. Specifically the art of punching your own bullets. Yes, this is something you can do in the game. Yes, it makes the projectile explode on contact. Yes, this is the single greatest thing ever. The audience in the Cybergrind knows that. They cheer every time you do it, even when you haven't started fighting yet. All you have to do to unlock this ancient technique is punch with the feedbacker slightly after firing the base shotgun, knocking the center bullet so hard it gains combustive properties. No, you can't do this with the alternate shotgun, seeing that it has no bullets. Something else we could use to absolutely break this fight apart is the red nail gun and its electroshock capabilities. Hit so powerful, you may accidentally bully the poor fucker into a corner and beat the shit out of him. But you get it by now. Put all this together, and you'll go from seeing this to this. Now that we've gotten to the end of the video, what can we take away? You see, within this can of chunky tomato soup lies what I think is one of the game's greatest bosses. V2 isn't one of God's great angels. It isn't one of hell's terrifying demons. Nor is it a towering, weaponized behemoth of a machine. No, it's just a machine. Similar to you, but ultimately just a cheap imitation. An annoying thorn in your side that tries to be better than you. And something you get to knock down a peg and prove that you are the best machine in hell. But hey, now that you've won, you can take solace in the fact that it's definitely over, and you'll never have to deal with this oversized ketchup bottle again. Wait, what do you mean I have to deal with it again?